Johnson's Baby presents The Tara Sharma Show.
All of us parents want what's best for our kids, right? While it's often easy to distinguish between right and wrong, sometimes the lines are a bit blurred. It's in times like these that we often rely on each other's experiences and advice. In today's day and age, technology surrounds us. And as parents, we often grapple with the debate of how much exposure to technology is too much for our kids and even for us adults for that matter. While some parents fear that overexposure to technology may be harmful to their children, there are others that might feel cutting off from technology completely may make their children lag behind. As a mom of two, I am often faced with the dilemma of where to draw the line.
In this episode, we're going to meet some wonderful mothers who have different views on technology and kids.
The child responds with uncontrollable rage and frustration.
We'll also take a look at the tech rules in our home. And finally, we'll meet the amazing actress and mum, Juhi Chawla, who has some strong views on the subject.
The World Health Organization in 2011 did classify radiation from mobile cell phones as possibly carcinogenic.
Technology surrounds us. Everywhere we turn, I think there's some gadget, whether it's a phone, an iPad, a TV. And I think as mums or as parents, something that I think we all grapple with is technology okay for our kids? How much is okay? How much is not okay? I'm really curious to hear what everyone has to say. So what's your view?
Right now, my son is 11 years old. I've gone to the other extreme and become very rigid about technology and not allowing too much. But it's really difficult to draw the line and, to set limits. When they're younger, it's a little easier. But as they grow, it gets more and more difficult.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I think as the kids grow, there's the whole social media debate.
Because they all want to have Facebook accounts, which is
Really?
Yes.
So my son, he's 9.5, and his friends have Facebook accounts, and I said no, that will not work. He's okay, he understands, but yeah, as they grow up, their demands will, they'll want a phone next.
I kind of hear that we're all sort of a little anti, we shouldn't allow too much. But don't you think that if we don't, they might just sort of be left behind in a world that is honestly moving digitally so rapidly?
But I think this generation is coming with like an inbuilt DNA, or I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just
to like
take it instinctively. So I remember my 2.5-year-old, when he not even played, he went on the TV screen and he swiped his finger because he thought it'll move, because he was used to the phone. And so I don't think we really have to worry too much about them being left behind, because there will be a lot of peer pressure. As they grow up, they go to their friend's place, they will instantly pick it up.
What do you think as a psychologist?
I remember this mother walking into the clinic and there was this huge mark, on the cheek. So I said, "What's that?" She said, "It's my 4-year-old who has clawed my face." And I said, "That's because," she said, I snatched the iPad from him. So I said, "Okay." And and I said, "How old is he?" She said, "He's 3.
Really?
And so now the latest research in the last 3 months says there's something that's being developed as a disorder called iPaddy. It's a children's disorder where every time the iPad is snatched or taken away, the child responds with uncontrollable rage and frustration. And it starts from children as old as 1.5.
But that's, I think the parents are giving too much exposure for them to actually feel that. I feel we are at fault, because it's like if you give a kid a pacifier, it's as like that, right?
And then you snatch it away, then obviously they'll
so it's how you're weaning the kid off.
But Kiran, you were saying that you've actually done something quite drastic.
Yes, I've become a mean mom. I'm the worst mom in this world and he hates me. Because I found that my son he did have a lot of time to himself. So anytime I looked at him, he was on some gadget. He would go and do whatever he had to do, his homework and all that, and finish it off because he had to get to a gadget. To a gadget. And one fine day I came home and I realized that when he looked up from his iPad, he had a dazed look in his eyes and his head was elsewhere. He was in that game or whatever it was he was playing. I don't want a situation where I look at my child and I talk to him and he looks up and it takes him some seconds to register that I'm talking to him.
That's not a good thing.
And the next day I told my husband, this is too much. We're disposing it.
No, so I'm just curious, like if you actually cut it off, are you not increasing their desire?
See, I have also filled up his day so much that he doesn't have the bandwidth or the time to think about.
But is that not forced? Do you not think that it should be like his choice, that if it's there, he can make that choice? Or
I don't think he's old enough to make that choice right now.
Okay.
I don't want to get into a space, where something is causing a problem and I know it is causing a problem with it, and to encourage it.
I agree. As parents, we want to do what honestly we feel is right for our kids and stuff. But social pressure and peer pressure, and let's face it, all of us, we are the biggest influence on our kids.
There was this 6-year-old, it's 7 in the morning. He's turning around at his mom and he's saying, "You look at your phone more than you look at me. Why not give me a phone?"
I've done that because I got the same thing, and that was the day I deleted Facebook and Twitter from my phone.
Recently, Zen, who's now really into his Spanish, and Kai as well follows along, Spanish teacher fractured her foot.
Oh.
Can't come for a month. Mommy, let's do it on Skype. And it's very cool. I mean, it was very helpful. So maybe technology for education, if you're monitoring the edutaining or the educational content, maybe that's not a bad thing.
So, American Association of Pediatrics says that children below 2 should not have any screen time. So that includes television, phones, gadgets, everything. And children above 2, 2.5, 3 should have just 1 hour of screen time. But when I did a research, Indian kids who are 3 to 5-year-olds, they have 4 hours of screen time.
About
But
how
you
they
allow 1.5 hours a day
I'm
of
okay.
TV, you're
1
fine
hour
with it.
to 1.5 hour, I'm okay with that. Like you rightly said, that if you say no too much, then they're bound to go ahead and do that.
So in the park, there was this 6-year-old who was talking about, he was calling his mother, and when the mother didn't come, he's telling her, "I'm going to harm myself if you don't come."
Oh no.
So he heard it on a Hindi melodrama, one of the characters saying it. I think what they are watching matters as much as the time.
yes.
I take a child for a movie, which I think is a children's movie,
Correct,
and it
correct.
has stuff that I wouldn't like my child to see.
Yes.
So where does one know? We don't have ratings in India, which
We
tell
don't,
you.
yes.
Yeah.
But just again being devil's advocate, you go to our nursery rhymes, you go to our fairy tales.
They're very
I mean,
violent.
they're very
violent.
I mean, everyone, Lala,
Breaking-
Rockabye Baby on the treetop.
Hansel and Gretel.
When the bar
Hansel
breaks,
and
the
Gretel. Jack and Jill.
all of them, all of them. And I have to say
And they're
that,
stereotyped.
yeah, so you have to, I think it's also about the values, you know, just
Yes.
letting the kids know what's right and wrong. But I don't know if we can actually physically say, you can't see
See
till, you know, because...
Even if we don't let them see it, look at the songs we're hearing.
Yes, exactly.
So at the end of the day, it's all around us. So,
So now one word from everyone, just on one last one-liner on your take on technology and kids.
necessary, very helpful, very essential, but keep a watch on what your child is doing.
You can't avoid it, but lead by example. So there are parents who take holidays which are digital free, no Wi-Fi holidays, you know, as a part of digital detox. I would recommend that.
Yes, of course. You have to be very, very careful of what they're watching. So what they're watching is, you can't keep them away, but the content is important more than the time, I would say.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Tara.
Tara.
Coming up next, a peek into our home and how we deal with technology. And then a tete-a-tete with Juhi Chawla on technology and kids.
Rupak has always been very tech-savvy. And in fact, a lot of his work happens on a gadget, whether his laptop or a smartphone or a tablet. And thanks to the multi-platform and interactive nature of our show, and since I mainly work from home, a lot of my work happens on my laptop too. So our kids are quite aware of technology. And in fact, they often joke, saying things like, "Just a minute, mommy, I'm on a conference call." Like with everything in parenting, we try to instill a healthy balance. In this case, of allowing some use of technology, but not too much. We most often succeed, but sometimes slip-ups happen.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
We believe there are some pros to technology for kids, like edutaining programs on TV or edutaining games on tablets. And also, there is no doubt that too much of anything is not good. Like too much watching TV or any screen for that matter is not good for the eyes and could dull the mind.
So today, with so much of technology out there, there are so many kids who just stay home, whether it's the iPad or the computer or gaming. You know, there's no motivation to go outdoors and just play outdoor activities and sports. Extracurricular activities and co-curricular activities, I strongly believe, have to be included within all schools today, or even at some points within our home environment, because developmental aspects for co-curricular activities are extremely high and important for all children from all age groups.
I personally believe nothing beats free outdoor play or reading a book or imagination. In fact, oddly enough, I find if given a choice, our kids often choose good old-fashioned play over technology.
The treasure is all mine. I see a bad pirate right there. I'm a bad pirate. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Also with outdoor play, being a very outdoorsy person myself and having grown up with parents who've always encouraged the outdoors and sport, we try and make it a point to let our kids play outside most evenings, whether it's kicking a ball or chasing friends or just running around with our dog. I'm a big believer in the correlation between a healthy mind and a healthy body. We are big believers in balance. If technology is denied, kids may rebel and want to use it more. So we believe in explaining the pros and cons and setting specific timings that are okay. We don't always succeed, but we try. Another aspect of technology that I think has benefited us as a family is that thanks to technology, I can work from home, be with our kids, and be a mompreneur.
I met the beautiful superstar and mom Juhi Chawla, who has some pretty strong views on technology and kids and feels strongly about anti-radiation.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Tara, for inviting me.
So being a mummy show, we get straight to the mummy stuff. What does motherhood mean to you?
A life changer for the better. Sleepless nights that last a long time, not just the first 2 months of the baby stage. And becoming a nicer person.
Yeah.
Before I had my own kids, actually I was not a kiddie-friendly person. In spite of, the Hamera Hi Pyar Ke and all that.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you always, honestly, for me, you're just like, you signify love.
I could just about tolerate kids. I was like, yeah, whatever, these little pesky, little small, short somethings around me. But after I had my kids, oh my gosh. One, I became protective, not just to my own children, but to any little child I'd see on the street.
Yeah, yeah.
And so really, I changed so much as a person. I looked at the world with new eyes.
So I think that's really interesting. And when you actually held your little ones for the first time, do you remember like what you felt?
The first time I held my first one, I think I was just baffled.
Yeah.
Because the first time around, you don't even know what hits you. But then after that, I think I was most stressed in my life because I didn't know what to do with that little
thing.
That little thing which
Yeah.
came home.
Yeah.
And it cried. And when it cried, I would shiver and shake because I was so
New to it. Yeah,
new
like
to
any
the whole
new mom.
experience.
Yeah.
The second time around, I found it much more enjoyable, easier.
Yeah.
And I loved the second one, I think, with more abandon than the first time.
Yeah. So is Jay a hands-on dad? How did he take to it when they first arrived?
I think he was relaxed throughout. And he's the kind of dad who indulges the kids. So
you have to be the strict one.
Yeah, I become the bad cop and he becomes the good cop. And he wins all the brownie points. He takes them to all the things that I don't.
Do they actually listen to you more or do you think they listen to him?
They know when mommy changes, the tone changes and the face, the expression changes that it's danger time, then they're totally...
So please give me some tips on this because I don't think my kids have differentiated between the strict mummy and the not strict mummy.
Each one has their own pace and, just a simple small thing. My son used to suck his thumb when he was little. Now, my daughter never did that. And this one kept doing it till he was about 4 or 5 and I started getting worried and I started putting all kinds of, neem ka pani and all on it so that he sucks it and then he doesn't like it. And one day I think I met Shah Rukh somewhere and he's like, will you just stop it? He's like, have you ever seen a 15-year-old suck his thumb? I was like, yeah, no. So he said, because they grow out of it. So he will grow out of all this.
That's very true. And it's so good he said that because I find that before you have kids, you have all these like thoughts that you're going to do this or be like this or, I'm never going to let them sleep in my room because somebody said don't do it. When they come, like, they slept in our bed, and then you realize they're fine. No, at 15, nobody's sleeping in the bed. So, they're going to be fine. So that's another good tip.
There are parental controls and you can control the sites that your kids can open.
Get onto.
And the things that they can do. So long as everything's within a certain limit, I guess you have to.
Yeah.
Again, let go.
So about technology. Now, I know you are a big crusader of anti-radiation. I've seen your videos and I think it's superb what you're doing. I have to admit, I'm a worrier. So when I hear things like this, I get really, oh my God, should we like not have any cell phones here? Let's like put everything. How strict are you about that, or how strongly do you enforce no Wi-Fi and stuff at home? How do you deal with it?
Okay, one, I have to say I'm not anti-technology.
Yeah.
I'm just pro-health.
Yeah.
WHO, that is the World Health Organization, in 2011 did classify radiation from mobile cell phones as possibly carcinogenic. While the debate still continues, is it really harmful? How much time does it take and how much radiation exposure does it take to actually cause harm? I'd just say we'd rather be safe than be sorry.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. With your kids, you don't want to take any chances.
Absolutely.
You know, your phone works in a building because the waves, these radio waves, travel through buildings. They travel. If you sit on your phone also and somebody calls you up, it'll ring. That means these radio waves travel through your body to reach the phone.
Yeah.
As all moms know now, when your baby is small, the skull is thin and soft.
Yeah.
When you hold a phone next to their head, onto their ear, now these waves are traveling through the brain. When you don't know what these waves may do or may not do, I think you'd rather that you don't give cell phones and iPads to little children. And if you do, make sure that they are on airplane mode.
Yeah.
That is when that connection, you know, with the radio waves traveling through to the antennas, that is cut off.
Right.
Also, this technology is very new. It's just been here last 8-10 years.
Yeah.
And we've really seen the boom last 6-7 years.
Yeah. So we don't really know.
We
what
don't
God
know the
forbid it
long
could-
term.
Yeah.
These kids which are growing up today, this is going to keep increasing perhaps.
Yeah.
They have a longer lifetime exposure to this. So you don't want to learn 10-15 years down the line that, oh,
Yeah.
something happened. I wish I'd been more careful.
Yeah.
So I'd
God
say to
forbid.
all
Yeah.
mummies that, you know, don't give your phones to your little children.
Yeah.
And I do this at home. I turn off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
When it is required, it's turned on.
So when it comes to social media, it's so
Yeah.
prevalent, and your kids are now older. So are they on social media yet, or do you know?
Much as
do
I
you know? That's the
keep
question.
cautioning them about their cell phones and this, it's only my daughter who's very recently now been chatting with her friends on the phone, and I think she's at that stage of her life where she wants to do all these girly, funny things, take photos of herself and put them on. So long as everything's within a certain limit, I guess you have to,
Yeah.
again, let go.
But do you think you would being a celebrity, and do you think that there are some rules that are a little different? Would you explain to them that, you know,
I
how
also
much?
have the same concerns as another parent that,
Yeah.
you know, do they know who they're talking to over there? There's so many nameless, faceless people
Yeah.
who pretend to be somebody else. There are parental controls, and you can control the sites that your kids can open
Get onto.
and the things that they can do. I think all those controls are in place with their gadgets,
Yeah.
so they can't totally wander off the mark. On the other hand, you can't police them 24 hours.
Yeah.
You can't. It's
can't.
not possible. So you just keep giving them the right inputs, and you try and, like I said, the parental controls on those gadgets.
Yeah.
So that's about what you can do.
On that note, it's really been so lovely talking to you. And as a closing, is there anything you'd like to say to other mums out there who are watching and would like to know any tips, any suggestions, anything you'd like to say about motherhood?
You know, when my kids were really little and the days seemed long and it was exhausting, friends said, you know, these days will fly. And now that my kids have grown out of the baby stage, I really feel that the days have flown.
Yeah.
So the time that you have with your kids when they're small and you can cuddle them and squeeze them around, enjoy every bit of it.
Yeah.
And another thing that I just read, and time and again I have to remind myself, so I'm not perfect in any way.
We're all learning.
We all learn and we all make the same mistakes and then learn again. Is just set an example.
Yeah.
So just be a kind of role model, and then the kids will follow. They will follow. So you don't always have to tell them do it this way or that way.
That's
you
true.
just do it the way you would like it to be.
So really, Juhi, thank you so much. That was really lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so, like most things, I think technology too has its pros and cons. As I always say, each to their own. So you have to decide what works for you and your family.
Next week, a discussion on education,
Parents are just wired before these exams.
a chat with the beautiful Konkana Sen Sharma,
There's too many things to worry about. There's no perfect school.
and lots more.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Tara Sharma Show.